All right. So, welcome back to another episode of Lock It In. I've got Uncle Tav on the mic here with me, and we're going to be going through some playoff previews for the first round of the NBA playoffs, similar to what we've done with the NHL playoffs. We're going to go series by series, give you a team breakdown, give you a key X factor and MVP for each team in the series. But first, let's go to the introductions. Welcome back to the Oladipo-less Pacers, a team that took the Cavs to the brink in Game 7 before ultimately tapping out. I think we all miss Victor as much as you do. Welcome back to Boston, the most dysfunctional and confusing team this season. Maybe the biggest surprise in a bad way. Last year, Boston was the surprise team of the playoffs in a good way. Young guys doing more than expected, and even taking the Cavaliers to Game 7 of the ECF before getting LeBron'd.
This is true. That was one of the most beastly performances LeBron's ever had, if I am a hater.
So I don't either. Yeah. For who? Okay.
For Boston. For Boston, I think their key. I think you've got to get Al Horford going playoffs. Big Al shows up in the playoffs. He was a huge part of their run last year. I think that just is still being overlooked a little bit. He was the calming presence. He's the veteran. That's the guy they need to go to. Make sure you run plays for him in big stretches, and I'm sure Brad Stevens will do it. Get him going. Make sure he's playing well. He's critical if they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs.
I actually agree with that. I think that's a great point. For my key, again, looking at this series, but also looking forward a little bit. But for this series, stay together, go fast. If the Celtics can score in this series, the Pacers won't be able to keep up. If the Celtics can get their defense going and get some transition buckets, points off turnovers, Indiana just can't score with them. So for me, play lockdown defense. I think that's last year what got Boston so far was their lockdown defense. I think they need to get back to playing, lockdown defense, making it tough for teams, getting transition points, because I think Tatum and Brown are much better in transition. Kyrie's fucking amazing anywhere, but in transition, he's great too.
I hear you on that. I agree.
My X factor for this series is going to be Jason Tatum. I think that, last year we saw a really impressive guy in the playoffs, and this year he didn't necessarily bring it like you might have hoped he would bring it. You might have thought he might take another step, but development is never linear, and it's one of those things where it's the playoffs, it's a new season. He can wipe his slate clean, and he can kind of wipe away this disappointing season with another good playoffs. And last year he proved he's capable. So he gets going, and this team truly has Kyrie and him balling at full potential. Moving down the road, that could be big for this team.
Yeah, I like that. I think Tatum is crucial to me. The X factor, I'm actually going to the coaching staff. I think Brad Stevens has got to find the right buttons to push here. He's got to push the right buttons. So for MVP, I think we can both agree. I don't know what you're going to say on this, actually. I think Kyrie just needs to have a big series. For them to really go far, this team actually is extremely dependent on him for offense. They're just not – they're not, for whatever reason, as cohesive as they were last year offensively. And maybe, honestly, that's just because Kyrie's a little bit hard to play with. He's ball dominant. Ball doesn't move as much. He's really, really good. But I think he is a little bit tougher to play with. But that being said, he's one of the most dynamic scorers in the NBA and can obviously take over.
He's moody. He's moody. And so I almost think he's probably harder to play with in the regular season than he is in the postseason. Because if you're winning and you're having success in the postseason, I think a lot of his moodiness and whatever is going to go away, even if he doesn't want to stay. Like, if you band together for the rest of this year, and I think he's going to play hard, you could get past some of the bullshit that they had to go through in the regular season. And I think that seriously contributed to a lot of what happened to the Celtics this year. I think Kyrie's whole attitude as a leader really hurt them. So my MVP in the series is Kyrie, and my advice is just keep it cool, man. Just be cool. Just be chill, dude.
Keep it cool.
Just chill out, man. It's not that big a deal. Just play hard and score some buckets, and just don't talk. Just don't talk that much. Be cool. Be aloof.
He'll do that if they play well. You know that.
So moving to the Pacers, though, for me, their key is pretty simple. I think you'll probably agree with it. Slow it down. Slow this game down. Make it as low scoring as possible. They can't keep up with Boston. They just really gotta keep the pace down.
If they're going to steal any game in this, it's going to have to be a really boring NBA game. It's going to have to be in the 90s. That's how they'll get one or two. Turner's going to dominate inside, which he can do. I mean, he's a very, very good rim protector. But that's really how they're going to have to win. It's going to have to be a game in the 90s. It gets ugly. Both teams shoot badly.
I totally agree with that.
So I agree. I think it's totally on pace. I think the score's got to stay low.
So for me, my X factor is Aaron Holiday.
Interesting.
And this is just, kind of a big long-term look at this, because this team's going to need something unexpected to be successful in this series. Like if they just go in playing how they've been playing and who we think they are, they're going to get rolled over by the Celtics. But they could really use an extra scorer that they don't have. But Aaron Holiday has had a decent season for a rookie, and I actually really like him. I think there is some upside there with him. I don't know if he's going to be able to turn it on right now. He probably won't be. But if they could get an unexpected good playoff performance from him, maybe a game where he has 12 to 18 points, somewhere in that range where he can come off the bench for, 14 minutes and give you 18 points or something like that, that could be a way they could win a game. And so can he step it up? If he can, this team could actually be pretty dangerous. If he ended up obviously he won't, but if he was like a 20-point per game scorer, this team could be dangerous. That's what they're missing. They're missing Oladipo, a guard who could really score. And so if they were to get an unexpected performance from a guy like that, I think they might be able to win a couple games this series.
I see that. We'll see if he ends up getting enough minutes to make an impact.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is I don't even know that he can. But I've liked him since college, and I liked what I saw in spurts this year. But he hasn't proven that he could really do much of anything. But they're going to need something unexpected.
I agree. The one thing I do sort of like is the Sabonis Hayward matchup off the bench. I think Sabonis can win that matchup. That could really, if he has a huge game, Hayward doesn't do much, be a difference in a game for them.
So actually, I really like that.
He's going to need to find points somewhere.
I really like that, because I don't know if you saw, they played actually pretty recently, these two teams, and the Celtics ended up whipping them. But early in the game, Sabonis was getting buckets, and they actually didn't really have an answer for Sabonis at all. And so if he's a guy, that's another guy who, what's he score this year, like 16 or something like that? What did he end up with this year?
I mean, he's putting up buckets off the bench. It's close to that. He's 14-9 in 25 minutes.
14-9. So exactly. So, they need something unexpected. If he all of a sudden starts averaging 20 or 22 in this playoff series, they could be in it. So I like that as an X factor pick. That's kind of where similar thing that I was thinking with Aaron Holiday is, somebody doing something a little bit more than what you expected of them. They need a one or two guys to do that for them to get into the series. Because they're a solid squad, and if they just had, Oladipo, then I think this would be a series. I think that they could win this series with Oladipo.
I'm with that. For my MVP, I think this is going to be kind of a pick. I'm going.
I love it. I knew you were going to go with Bogdanovich.
For those who haven't watched a ton of Bojan, or Bogey, as he's fondly known as, I think what you will quickly realize is he is pretty much either hot or cold when he plays. And when he's hot, he's hitting.
I mean, he was guarding LeBron James last year when he was hot.
Right. Like he's just locked in when he's hot. And like if he's feeling it, I mean, he will hit 7 or 8 tough threes and put up 27 points. You know, if he has 1 or 2 of those games, that's what Indiana's going to need to win a game or 2 in this series. I truly think, just because they need the offense. And Boston, to me, especially without Marcus Smart, they're young. They have actually a propensity for some mental. Leave him open a little bit early. He gets hot. That's how you steal a game.
I totally agree, and I think that this is part of the reason why I like this team so much. And it's really a shame that Oladipo isn't here, because with Oladipo, I absolutely love this team. I love Bogdanovich. I think he's great. I'm just a fan of a lot of these guys. But for me, the MVP has got to be a guy you talked about earlier in your key. It's got to be Miles Turner. He's really turned into, a top level defender this year, one of the, top guys in the NBA, but he'll need to take his game to elite game-changing level status if this team wants a chance in this series.
I'm with you. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.